Deku's dark power grows, enemies rise, and his harem takes shape. Will he embrace his destiny? Let's find out. Izuku, by the way, where is Kirishima? He said doubtfully, looking everywhere. Momo, he said he didn't want to see you. What he did to you is not the man, that's what he said. Todoroki, he must be in his room now. Izuku, sighs, well, that will be done another day. By the way, sorry for what I said to you, Momo, and congratulations on your relationship. You have made progress. Momo and Todoroki blushed at what the silver-haired boy said. Momo, what are you talking about? Izuku, don't act distracted, I smell Todoroki all over your body and vice versa. He said it mockingly, but well, I imagine they used protection. But he was frozen courtesy of Todoroki, who had his quirk activated and a big blush, and Momo had a big blush, her face looked like a tomato. Momo, pervert. Drag, you see I'm right. Izuku, you're not helping, he said with difficulty. Todoroki approached to defrost. A few minutes passed and Izuku was seen very cold and in his chibi form. Izuku, you passed it. Todoroki, you deserve it. Momo, well, I'm going to my room, see you Izuku. Todoroki, same here, see you bro. Thus leaving the silver-haired boy's room alone, leaving Melissa and Izuku. Melissa, what are you going to do now? She said doubtfully. Izuku, I was going to go to the kitchen, I'm hungry. Melissa, okay, let's go. So they left the silver-haired boy's room. Izuku deactivated the gauntlet. They arrived at the kitchen but saw that there were some students from Class A, and let's say that Izuku didn't like it at all. Ida, hello friend. Izuku, friend? He said angrily and with a twitch in his eye. Uraka, that's right, Deku-kun said it happily. Mina, I'm glad you're back, she said happily. But they saw the silver-haired boy who only had his gaze downcast, his hair covering his eyes. They saw Melissa worried. Melissa, what they did, she said it in her thoughts. Izuku, so friends know. Ida, listen, Mito. Ga spit out some blood. He looked down and saw that Izuku's fist hit him in the stomach. This time he only called his knee, in full view of his companions who were worried. Izuku, if you tell me so much, friend, why the hell did they attack me? He said it angrily. Uraka, Deku-kun for. I can't finish because I was interrupted. Izuku, Deku is dead. Everyone was surprised by what was said except Melissa. Izuku, but, thanks to you I now know who I really am. Bakugo, you're just trash, you're just a Deku. But they heard a crazy laugh, which was from the silver-haired boy.
Izuku, ha 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 ha, really, it seems that we did not introduce ourselves properly.
Ojiro, how? Izuku, my name is Izuku Lucifer, he said, releasing his dragon and demon wings. Reincarnation of Vali Lucifer, the descendant of the original Lucifer and current Sekiryu, releasing his aura between crimson and purple. Everyone was scared if what he said was true. Then in front of him is the son of Lucifer, but in that boom! They saw Melissa, who had a throbbing vein and her fist on Izuku's head that gave him a comically shaped bump. Melissa, seriously, so much stupid presentation. Izuku, okay, but I introduced myself, let's go, I'm hungry. Thus her aura and wings disappeared, going to the kitchen to prepare something for her and him. They ignored the tension that there was. Ida, Uraka, looks worried. Uraka, I know he's not dead, we just have to talk to him. Tsuyu, as if that were easy, he doesn't want to see us. Ojiro, this time I agree with her, let's leave it alone. In the kitchen. Izuku, and you like the food? Melissa, you sure cook deliciously, Izu-kun, she said with a big smile. Izuku, thanks, he said it nervously. Melissa, and now what are you going to do? She said, looking at the silver-haired boy. Izuku, I don't know the truth, I'm just going to train, I have to master the power of drag. Melissa, I see, but you can train me. Izuku, I don't see the problem, okay, I'll train you. Melissa, thank you, she said, hugging the silver-haired boy. Izuku, he no problem, returns the hug. So they left the kitchen ignoring the others. They just went to their rooms. 4 days passed. In those days Izuku trained Melissa and forgave Kirishima for what happened, and they became friends again, but some did not take well the decision of the silver-haired Ida and Uraka insisting that they wanted to talk and ask for forgiveness, but he ignored them completely, and Bakugo being Bakugo always challenging him to a battle or screwing his life. But anyway, Melissa controls one for all full cal 25% since Izuku told her to pass the entire one for all to everyone in her body. For her it was not difficult since she knew something about hand to hand, it was more or less accessible. Friday in the living room. It was the last day of the week. Izuku was with his group, which was made up of Melissa, Momo, Todoroki and finally Kirishima. They were talking very quietly until they heard the noise of the door. All/Todoroki, Endeavor/old. Endeavor, silence brats, go back to your places. Nobody said anything for a second, everything was silent and in their places paying attention to what the hero N1 was going to say. Endeavor, well, I'm sorry I'm a little late. I had a meeting with the teachers. He said it calmly. I'll be direct. Next week the sports festival will be held. Everyone was surprised by what the hero said. Ida, sensei, will it be the same as the previous festival? He said, moving his arms. Endeavor, that's what we're seeing now. Today we're going to have a friendly confrontation, but not between you. Ojiro, what does it mean? I can answer you. Everyone saw the door of the classroom and there were 3 people who were previously at the UA. Everyone/Izuku, the big 3/ this is going to get interesting. At the door were the big 3, or more specifically the former big 3, they were already professional heroes. They went into the classroom and stood in front of the students, but they saw Nehire looking everywhere as if looking for someone until she. At the door were the big 3, or more specifically the former big 3, they were already professional heroes. They went into the classroom and stood in front of the students, but they saw Nehire looking everywhere as if looking for someone until her sight locked on someone specific. Nehire, Fizuku, it's you. Izuku just smiled as he knew he got up from the chair. Izuku, hello Neji-chan, yes it's me. That's all he had to say, because he saw how he launched himself towards him, hugging the silver-haired boy tightly as if he didn't want to let go. Nehire, sniff Izu sniff, you are free, she said, crying in the silver-haired man's chest. He just reciprocated the hug and stroked her head to calm her down. Izuku, don't cry anymore, everything is fine, I'm free now, he said calmly. Nehire, it's just that sniff, the evidence seemed real. Sniff, we couldn't find evidence of your innocence, sorry for not sniff getting you out before. Nehire's friends just looked at the scene with some happiness and sadness since they couldn't get the former green-haired boy out before, and happy for her friend. Endeavor just looked in silence, not wanting to interrupt the reunion between them. Melissa just looked a bit jealous, and Uraka wanted to separate Nehire from her Deku-kun. She was going to act, but she felt her feet freeze and saw that the one responsible was Todoroki, who just looked at her as if saying don't interrupt. The moment she just reluctantly accepted. Mirio, it's been that long, right? He said, something happy. Izuku, that's what I see, you got your quirk back. Mirio, yes, it's all thanks to your daughter, he said happily. Izuku was surprised by what was said. Izuku, so Eri trained to control her quirk. He saw that Mirio nodded his head. I think she deserves an outing after all. Hello Tamaki, and were you able to leave that nervousness that you had? Tamaki, Elo Midorilla. Izuku, it's obvious that he doesn't, he said it with a drop of sweat. Endeavor, cough cough, okay, lots of chatter for today, I don't want to waste your time. Izuku and Nehire separated from the hug. She didn't want to, but she had to do it because of the news she was going to give. She went where her friends were and Izuku returned to his place to sit down. Endeavor, you're going to face the former big 3. Everyone was surprised by what their sensei said, some got nervous about what they were going to face. Nehire, I wanted to tell the news, she said, pouting. Bakugo, hee, this will be very easy, the Shiner said it, making some mini explosions. Ida, now that we are in 2A we are stronger than before. Izuku, you better not talk before fighting. Bakugo, hey, what do you mean, Deku? He said it angrily, or maybe you're scared, he said it mockingly. Izuku, not at all, but I realized that at first glance they didn't waste time, not like you. Bakugo, it's just pure talk, I want to fight here and now. Izuku, it seems that things don't change. Endeavor, okay, go to the locker room to change and put on your hero suits, he said seriously. Hi. Everyone was going to leave but Endeavor, except for you Midoriya, I want to talk to you. Izuku didn't say anything, all the students left and the former big 3 also went to the battlefield, leaving only Izuku and Endeavor. Izuku, what do you need? He said neutrally. A few minutes later. Everyone was already on the battlefield. The students of Class A were in their hero costumes. In front of them were their rivals, the former Big Three. Melissa looked everywhere looking for someone. Mina, are you looking for someone? Melissa, if I don't find Izuku. Bakugo, I'm sure he was scared, he said mockingly. You better shut up. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice, and indeed there was the silver-haired man. Izuku, hello. Ida, since when were you there? Izuku, since he was there, pointing to his rivals. Bakugo, TSK. Endeavor, they will face them but not the strongest of their class. Everyone was surprised and looked at Izuku, who had a superior smile. Bakugo, and who decided it? He said it angrily. Izuku, since I beat him in our fight. Ida, it was pure luck what happened. Izuku, yeah, go for it. But he saw Melissa approaching with a small blush. Melissa, Izuku. Izuku, what's wrong? Melissa, if I win the fight, we can go out for a date, she said while playing with her fingers. Izuku, do your best, stroking Melissa's head. Melissa, ha ha. So a date. Izuku had a chill down his spine and looked to his right, and there were the other girls who were Kendo, Kami, Mei, and finally Nehire, who were with a not at all friendly smile that worried the silver-haired boy. Izuku, C.ch. Girls, he said it nervously. Kami, ara so a date. Kendo, it seems that she got ahead of us. Nehire, Mua wanted to go out with Izu-kun, she said with a pout. Mei, I was going to do the first one. They all looked at each other and had serious looks, and it seemed like a ray was coming out between their eyes. That worried Izuku. Izuku, girls, can we calm down? He said, trying to calm the atmosphere. All, humph, turning their backs on each other. Izuku, when the battle is over we will talk about this, he said, smiling as he knows. The girls blushed from the smile, they all agreed. Nehire left with her friends Mei, Kendo, and Kami. They stayed where Izuku was, hugging him in full view of Melissa, who was with her classmates. She was jealous about that, but she concentrated, because she had to win and it would be difficult because her rivals are professional heroes. Endeavor, okay, fight. Nobody moved, they just looked at each other. Ida had already come up with a plan to defeat his rivals, but without Izuku, the fight would be very difficult for him. Ida, well, it's time to show that we are the strongest, he said with pride. Todoroki, it would be better to fight and not talk, he said seriously. Bakugo, shut up, I'll defeat them. Bakugo launched himself towards them. Ida was going to stop him, but it was too late. Bakugo was close to his rivals. Bakugo, shiny. The fight has already started as I feel Bakugo was the first. He made an explosion hitting his rival squarely. He thought he had already won, but he looked above him and saw Nehire floating with her quirk, or Tamaki, who had bird wings, and Mirio disappeared. Bakugo, what the fuck? But he received a blow to his back, sending them a few meters courtesy of Mirio, who saw behind him deactivating his quirk. Some already launched themselves crazy to win. Izuku and Endeavor just shook their heads. The girls who were with Izuku also did the same. It seemed that my battle was decided. Ida was going to stop them, but it was too late. Some boys and girls from Class A were defeated. The minutes passed. Only Ida, Melissa, Todoroki and Bakugo remained standing. They were very married, but their rivals only had small scratches. Mirio, yes, they lasted longer than the previous one. Tamaki, it seems so. Todoroki, TSK, they weren't serious, he said angrily. Ida, then they. Bakugo, they were underestimating us, he said angrily. Melissa, shit, this is getting more complicated. Endeavor, enough is the end of the fight. Bakugo, what did you say? The fight didn't end. He was going to jump but was grabbed by Endeavor. He had an angry look. Endeavor, I said the fight was over, did you hear me? He said it while shouting. Bakugo, TSK. Endeavor let go of him. Bakugo went to the wall, followed by Todoroki, and Ida went to where the others were. He was leaning on a wall, sitting and resting, and Melissa went to where Izuku was. She just lowered her head. Melissa, I lost Izuku, sorry. Izuku, why are you asking for forgiveness? Melissa, even though you trained me, I didn't give my best effort. She was going to continue talking, but she received a hug from Izuku, who just smiled. She just returned the hug. Izuku, don't say those things. I've listed the best of you. I'm surprised that you listed some hits on Mirio. Melissa, but what about the quote? Izuku, I just said that if you did your best, the date is still on. Melissa, I love you, she said in a whisper. Izuku, I love you too. The other girls became jealous of that action. Endeavor, you're in luck, kid. Melissa, wait, don't even say what. She separated from the hug looking at Izuku. Izuku, I think it's my turn. With that, he headed to the battlefield, being watched by the entire A class who looked at him in surprise. Ida, Sensei, are you sure about this? Endeavor, that's right, I want to see Midoriya's true power. Bakugo, he won't last a minute, he said mockingly. Mina, what do you think, Todoroki? Looking at the bicolor. Todoroki, it will be interesting to see Midoriya's power, he said seriously. Ojiro, in our battle he held back too much to not kill us. Bakugo, you're telling me what? Momo, he didn't really fight. Izuku, you're right, Momo-chan. Bakugo, damn. Endeavor, enough talk, Midoriya, are you ready? Looking at the silver-haired boy. Izuku, always activating his gauntlet and his characteristic aura. Endeavor, Mirio, Nehire and Tamaki are ready. They just got serious and put themselves in a battle pose since their rival was the strongest in Class A, he alone defeated his class, so they shouldn't take it lightly. Endeavor, get started. Boost 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 boost. Izuku, Dragon Shot, he launched his signature attack. Nehire, Ring Wave, I release a large powerful wave colliding with the Dragon Shot making a smoke screen, ranged attack? Mirio, I don't know, but it's not the same Izuku we know, don't let your guard down. Tamaki didn't say anything, he was just serious looking at the smoke screen. But Izuku, where are you looking? Whisper in Tamaki's ear. Tamaki turned around, he was going to react but received a blow to the face, he was sent a few meters away. His companions were surprised by Izuku's speed, they didn't see anything, they stopped thinking about it and went on the attack. Nehire was in charge of the distance attacks and Mirio of hand-to-hand combat. Now they were in an exchange of fists and kicks between them. Some of Izuku's blows went through Mirio's body due to Mirio's quirk, which was permeability. He could become intangible. Izuku dodged some blows and received them. Tamaki had already recovered from the blow and was waiting for the moment to attack, and Nehire also did the same. In that moment Izuku threw a blow to the belly, leaving him without air and sending him to where his companions were. Tsuyu, Midoriya fights amazing. Ojiro, I agree, but Todoroki, they're not really fighting. Everyone was surprised by what the bicolor said. Bakugo, not a fucking thing, like he's not really fighting, angry shout. Mei, come on Izuku, win. Kendo, Izuku you can. Kami, if you win tonight you will get a prize, she said in a flirtatious tone. Izuku blushed at what Kami said, Nehire was jealous. Endeavor, well, we're getting off topic, he said with a drop of anime-like sweat. Izuku, that's right, but anyway, let's leave the warm-up. Mirio, that's what I wanted to hear. Ida, what do you mean, warming up? He said nervously. Hagakure, tell me what's a joke. Izuku, drag at full power. Drag, high. Boost 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 x59. Total boost x60. He finished his increase and his aura became more aggressive than before, more aggressive when he fought with his class. Everyone was surprised by so many increases. Endeavor, so. Todoroki, it's all his power. Izuku, I'm ready, getting into battle pose. His rivals became serious, and in battle pose, they were now serious. The first to launch himself is Mirio, and Izuku also launched himself. They started an exchange of blows. Now they were more aggressive, neither gave in. Izuku tried to punch him but his fist went through his face because he activated his quirk, but his fist was grabbed by some tentacles from Tamaki who sent him against a wall with force. Izuku quickly recovered but covered himself with his arms in an X shape from Nehire's wave. Izuku, already tired, began to attack Tamaki since with his manifest quirk he could be a nuisance, but before reaching the front of him Mirio was there. He wanted to hit him but Izuku dodged him and punched him in the face but was sent a few meters away by Nehire's wave. He quickly recovered. Izuku, okay, enough games. Dragon Shot. He launched the attack on Nehire. The latter was married and sent a wave with all her power, causing an explosion, creating a smoke screen in the middle. Nehire, you don't have much energy left. Izuku, you did well, rest, he said, whispering in his ear. He hit her on the back of the neck to knock her out before she fell. He grabbed her and carried her like a princess. He saw her face and had a smile. Izuku, you really became prettier. He just leaves her where the other girls were. Izuku, I'll leave it to you, receiving a yes from his girls. He left and went to where Mirio and Tamaki were waiting for him. Izuku, let's finish this. Mirio launched himself to attack him. Izuku was just waiting for him. He threw a punch that Izuku dodged and saw that he was already tired, so he put a dragon shot in his chest, causing an explosion. Everyone was surprised by what the silver-haired man had done since he was already there. Tamaki was surprised to see that the curtain was disappearing little by little, but he saw that Mirio was unconscious with somewhat serious injuries and he did not see his opponent. Tamaki, where is it? He said, looking everywhere. Here. He looked behind him but received a kick in the face, sending him against a wall, leaving him unconscious. Everyone was surprised by the strength of their companion. He alone defeated the ancient three greats. They knew he was strong but not of a great magnitude. A few hours passed and the students from Class A recovered except for the old three big ones. They were still in the UA infirmary. They were awake, but on the recommendation of recovery they were to stay to do other studies if everything was okay. Nay higher, I'm bored, she said, pouting. Mirio, ha ha ha, calm down, we're leaving here, it's just a few studies and that's it. Tamaki, I hope so. But they heard the noise of the door opening and saw Recovery, who was accompanied by Mirio/Tamaki/Nay higher, Midoriya/Izu-kun, they said, surprised. The last one was to hug him. He only reciprocated the hug. Izuku, hee hello back, he said with a nervous smile. Mirio, hee yes, and great fight. Tamaki, yes. Nay higher, by the way, as she separated from the hug, what is that quirk? What is it called? Why the gauntlet? Why does the gauntlet talk? He was going to continue asking questions, but he received a blow from Recovery with his cane on the head. Recovery, are you never going to change? She said, somewhat annoyed. Nay higher, pardon, she said, rubbing her head, but she heard some giggles from Izuku. Don't laugh. Izuku, hee sorry. Recovery, okay, you can go now, the studies went well, now long. The big three left. And Izuku too was now in the school hallway talking about trivial things, but in that. Nay higher, hey Izu-kun, where are the others? She said with doubt. Izuku, they are in my room by the way, let's go there, I want to show you something, he said with a smile. Mirio, well then let's go. Izuku guided them to his room. When they arrived there was no one in the dining room. Izuku did not give it importance, he just guided them to his room, but when they opened the door they saw something that, well, they will already know. Kendo, I'm going to have a date with Izuku, she said angrily. Melissa, but I asked him first and he accepted, she said with superiority. Kami, but he promised me that I would be the first to go out with him. May, hey girls, we can talk calmly, she said nervously, besides, they've already arrived, looking at the door. They didn't understand what he said, but they saw at the entrance of the door that was there Izuku accompanied by the big trains, but they saw Nay higher with a murderous aura and a smile that made the boys nervous. Nay higher, I'm going to have a date with Izu-kun. Izuku, girls, calm down please, he asked kindly. All, humph. Izuku sighed. Dryg watched the scene with amusement since his partner has it quite difficult. Mirio had a nervous smile and Tamaki, well. It was Tamaki, he turned his back on the others because of his shyness. Mirio, by the way, changing the subject, what did you want to tell us? Tamaki speak fast. Nay higher, that's what Izu-kun says. Izuku, okay, form a circle and hold hands. I want you to meet someone. Melissa, wait, don't tell me that she saw Izuku, who just nodded. Everyone had doubts except Melissa, Kendo, Kami, and May. They already knew what he was going to do. They all formed a circle holding hands, then his gauntlet appeared and a crimson aura surrounded them all. Izuku, calm down, just close your eyes. Everyone listened, closed their eyes, and a few minutes passed and Izuku spoke. Izuku, okay, you can open your eyes now. They opened their eyes and saw a red dragon. Some were surprised by the big dragon in front of them. Izuku, hello Dryg. Dryg, hello pervert. Izuku had a twitch in his eye. Mirio, hey Midoriya, who is it? Dryg, it seems that young people are missing out on studying, he said, annoyed. Izuku, at least they don't sleep all day, he said mockingly. Dryg, shut up, he said angrily. Kof, my name is Dryg, I am a celestial dragon, the Red Emperor Dragon. Tamaki, what is a D dragon doing on your head? Nay higher, that Izuku. Izuku, so that there are no doubts, he told his entire story, or rather a summary of it, and Dryg also told his story and gave a little information since Izuku is half dragon and half demon. It must be said that everyone was surprised except 4 girls who already knew but were worried about their battle since they know that the White One woke up but has not yet made an appearance. Mirio and Tamaki were surprised by what Midoriya or rather Lucifer had told in the girls. Well, they were very worried. Nay higher, Izu-kun, she said worriedly, went to hug him. I don't want to lose you again, she said sadly. Izuku was surprised but only reciprocated the hug at the sight of the jealous girls, but they did nothing. Mirio looked serious. The situation was too serious. If they faced each other, then the city or the country would be in danger. Tamaki was nervous. He had no words to describe what Izuku said. Izuku, okay, I'll be brief. I want you to help evacuate the combat zone. The heroes know. I've already told you everything. Mirio, well, we will help as much as possible. Tamaki, Upi. I think the same. Izuku just smiled at that. Drag just looked serious, but. Drag, okay, if that's what it was, you can go, it's my bedtime. Izuku, if you sleep all day, he said in chibi form. Drag, shut up. Izuku just sighed, that's why he knew that Lizard is not going to change. They did the same when they entered Izuku's subconscious. A few minutes passed and Mirio and Tamaki appeared in the room and said goodbye to Izuku since they had hero work except for Nehire, who stayed with the girls to discuss something. Izuku, okay girls, what's up? All, who's going to have the first date? Izuku just had a drop of sweat on him because of that. Drag, you have it difficult, he said mockingly. Izuku, don't even tell me. All, so, well? Izuku, I have an idea, what if you play rock paper scissors? They stared at him. He had a point in his favor. If they continued arguing they would not get anywhere. Izuku, so we agree? Melissa, if it's the only way. Kendo, then. All, rock, paper, scissors all ended in a tie. Izuku, this is going to take a long time, while watching them play. May, yes, I win, I'm the first, she said happily. All, lucky. A few minutes later. Kemi, yes, I'm the second, she said happily. 3 Doritos later. They had already finished playing and the order of the appointment was like this. 1. May. 2. Truck. 3. Melissa. 4. Kendo. 5. Nehire. The last one was pouting about being the last one. Izuku, well at least there was no disaster. Kendo, yeah. Melissa, so when do we have our date? Izuku, since there are no classes this week, let's take advantage of it for our dates, does that sound good to you? All, hi. Izuku, it's going to be a very long week. Izuku, well, do you want to eat something? All, yes Izuku/darling. They left the silver-haired boy's room heading to the kitchen. They heard some noises, they took a look and it was the rest of the class who had recovered. Izuku, so you recovered from the beating, he said mockingly. Bakugo, damn. Ida, Class B president? Kendo, so it's a problem Ida, he said it would be. Uraka, but what are you doing here and what are you doing with Deku-kun? She said somewhat jealous. Izuku was about to answer but was interrupted. Kendo, first you don't care what I'm doing here and second I'm with my boyfriend, kissing Izuku. Everyone was surprised and the girls in the harem became jealous. Izuku only kissed back without paying attention to anyone. A few seconds passed and they separated from the kiss, leaving a thread of saliva. Melissa, hey, that's not fair, repeating the same action. Class A, what? Melissa broke away from the kiss, blushing a little. Kami, ara, I'm missing giving him a kiss. Now they didn't know what to believe, especially Izuku's friends. They separated from the kiss, she had a perverted look and Izuku just looked nervous. Mei didn't say anything, she just grabbed Izuku and kissed him. He didn't even know how he was still alive with all this, but he just enjoyed it. They separated from the kiss. Nehire, leave my Izu-kun. She kissed Izuku very intensely since she missed her Izuku a lot. He just kissed her back. A few seconds passed and they separated from the kiss, leaving a trail of saliva. Nobody said anything about that. Todoroki, wow, you really didn't waste your time, bro, he said mockingly. Kirishima, that's a man's thing. Izuku just blushed in embarrassment and just laughed nervously. Izuku, you weren't far behind either, teapot. Todoroki understood that and just looked away. Momo blushed at that. Izuku just laughed at that, but in that. Uraka, please Deku do the same again. Izuku just ignored her and headed to the kitchen followed by his girls. They entered the kitchen, he stayed at the entrance. Izuku, he's not coming back. Never again. Leaving everyone surprised, some sad. Izuku's friends did not say anything, they already got used to the new Izuku, the others did not. Izuku didn't say anything, he entered the kitchen, he just sighed to calm down, his girls just hugged him to calm him down. He thanked them for the gesture. Izuku's friends also entered the kitchen, the others just stayed in the dining room, they just lowered their heads and didn't say anything. In the kitchen. Izuku, guys? Kirishima, we just came to get something to eat. Izuku, I was going to do katsudon with the girls, do you want to? They just nodded and began to prepare the food. Everyone helped and there were also moments of laughter. They were having a good time, but on the other hand, there were only Ida and Uraka who only listened to the laughter. Ida, I'm going to my room, what are you going to do? Looking at Uraka. Uraka, I'm leaving too, she said sadly. They just went to their rooms without saying anything. On the way, a few minutes passed and everyone came out of the kitchen with their plates and went to the table to start eating. The atmosphere was pleasant. Momo, what are you going to do this week? Izuku, this week I'm going to spend time with them, looking at his girls. Kirishima, that's a man's thing. Todoroki, seriously, you're never going to change, he said, bored looking at Kirishima. Kirishima, I don't think so, he said nervously. Mei, I'm going on a date with Izuku-kun, she said happily. The others, us too, they said somewhat angrily. Mei, now, wait your turn. At that Todoroki approached Izuku whispering to him. Todoroki, how did they agree? Izuku, they played rock paper scissors and well what happened, nervous. Momo, whispering / Todoroki-kun, they said you would be. They, nada, they said with fear. Drag, women are really scary. Izuku, don't even tell me. Kirishima just looked at that with amusement, his friends had it very difficult. Momo, changing the subject, he said it would be. Todoroki, he's coming, isn't he? The girls understood that they were worried about their Izuku, he was just serious about that, his gauntlet manifested itself. Drag, that's right, he knows I woke up. Kirishima, then. Drag, he is close, at any moment he appears, serious tone. Izuku, my battle is coming soon, he said seriously. Everyone didn't know what to say, possibly their rival is coming. Todoroki, and what can we do? He said seriously. Izuku, evacuate the area, possibly the heroes will take care of it, but it is better that more heroes is better. Kirishima, we will help as much as possible. All, how much with us? Izuku, thanks girls and friends, the gauntlet disappearing. They finished eating and went to wash the dishes. A few minutes passed, they finished washing the dishes and went to their rooms. The girls went to their room to sleep with him since it was nighttime. Izuku didn't say anything, he just lay down on his bed. The girls also lay down with him. The girls fell asleep instantly. Izuku was looking at the ceiling. Drag, what do you think? Izuku, it's getting closer and closer. Drag understood what he said. Lately they felt the presence of the white closer. Drag, I'm going to sleep, buddy, cutting off communication. Izuku didn't say anything, he also settled down a bit and went to sleep since tomorrow the dates start. Elsewhere. I refuse, he said seriously. Shigaraki, come on boy, you can't refuse, and we win, he said something fun. That's right, Manuela Shigaraki was negotiating with the white man, but it seemed that it wasn't going well. Still my answer is no, it is not your business to butt into other people's business long before you kill. Shigaraki got angry about that, but a portal appeared behind him and he understood that it was time to leave and he turned his back when he was going to cross the portal. Tell your sensei not to bother me anymore. He didn't say anything, he just crossed the portal, which closed instantly. Izuku's rival just sighed a little more, he killed Manuela, it was the 5th time they screwed him, then the wings of the divine dividing appeared. Alvion, what are you going to do? If you keep bothering me I'll kill you, he said annoyed. Alvion, I see, but he is close, it seems that. He is at the UA, besides looking at a brochure I already know when I will appear. Alvion, I'm looking forward to facing him. I hope he is strong enough. With that said he flew off in a direction. There is not much left for our rival for our battle. The next day. Izuku slowly woke up and saw that he was alone in his room, something seemed strange to him, He got up, left his room and went to the bathroom. A few minutes passed, he left the bathroom and went to the kitchen, and when he entered he saw them. Izuku, good morning girls. All, good morning Izuku/darling. Izuku, what are you doing? May, I'm making you breakfast, she said happily. Nay higher, let's go to the table Izu-kun. I grabbed the silver-haired boy's hand and take him to the table. He made the silver-haired boy sit down. Izuku didn't say anything, he just saw that the girls brought the breakfast. Well, since it was a large amount, they also brought their own breakfast. Melissa, eat whenever you want, Izuku-kun. He didn't say anything and started devouring everything in his path. The girls were surprised by that. Kendo, wow, I was really hungry. Drag, something like that. Then they saw that the gauntlet manifested itself. Drag, let's say that Izuku is half dragon and half demon. His metabolism is advanced, that's why he eats that large amount of food. Nay higher, like a Saiyan? She said somewhat excitedly. Drag, something similar but less quantity. Let's not compare Izuku's metabolism and theirs, there is a big difference, he said with a drop of sweat. Then the girls imagined an Izuku half Saiyan and half dragon. Everyone, poor restaurant that Izuku goes to, they said with a drop of sweat. Drag, F. Izuku continued eating, he didn't pay attention to the conversation between Drag and his girls. A few minutes passed and Izuku finished eating. There was a pile of 15 dirty plates. Izuku, how delicious was breakfast, thanks girls, he said happily. All, hee hee, you're welcome. Drag, good morning, mate. Izuku, same here, friend. Melissa, by the way, today the appointments will start. Izuku, that's right, how about we start the date in the afternoon, looking at May. May, yes Izu-kun, she said happily. A few minutes passed and they started washing the dishes. They were having fun in the kitchen, laughing and joking, but when they finished washing the dishes, they saw that everyone from Class A was already in the living room. Izuku became serious and just greeted his friends and nothing more. Ida, Midoriya, since when are you here? Izuku, that doesn't interest you, he said in a cold tone. Uraka, come on Deku-kun, don't be like that. Izuku, I don't give a shit what you say. Ida, hey, don't talk to her like that. Izuku, and if I talk to you like that, what will you do? Endeavor, you better calm down, he said seriously. All, Endeavor-sensei. Endeavor, he is fast, even though he lost the fight, he has improved a lot, but he still needs to improve. Keep it up. All, hi. Endeavor, and you Midoriya, looking at the aforementioned, congratulations for winning, but have you used all your power? He said seriously. The whole class was surprised except for his girls and the silver-haired boy's friends. Izuku, no. All, what it? Izuku, what they heard. Endeavor, I see. Bakugo was upset by what the silver-haired boy said, so he has always underestimated them. Bakugo, that's bullshit what you said, how come you didn't use all your power? Izuku was going to speak but the gauntlet manifested. Drag, my partner didn't use his full power and never used the balance breaker. Ida, so how much power did you use with the big three? Izuku, if we put it in percentages. 30%. Bakugo, I refuse to believe that nonsense, he said angrily. Izuku, whether you like it or not, it's the pure truth. Endeavor, enough Bakugo, well I came to say that, I'm leaving. Before Midoriya left he had handed over a paper, Endeavor read it. Endeavor, if Director Nezu gave you permission, that's enough for me, leaving the place. Ida, what did you tell Endeavor-sensei? Izuku, a permission that I asked directly Nezu and he did not refuse. May, don't tell me that, he just nodded. Izuku, changing the subject, looking at the time which was 11 a.m., I'm going to train, I still have to master Drag's power. With that said he left leaving the others in the living room. Nay higher, I have to go, I have to do my heroine work. Kami, I have to go too, I have to go back to my academy. They said goodbye to their friends and Izuku's friends except for the class, who completely ignored them. Melissa, and you, Kendo, don't have to fulfill your duty as class president? She said with doubt. Kendo, yes, but I'm taking a mini vacation. Melissa, mini vacation or spending time with him, looking at her. Kendo, both, looking at her. May just watched the scene with a drop of sweat. A few hours later. In that hour the whole class started training because in a week the sports festival will start. A second chance for some because they didn't have many invitations for the hero internships in this festival they wanted to surprise. Izuku trained like crazy, he didn't care about the festival, what mattered was that his rival was close. Currently 16 p.m. Izuku was in the living room and had the following clothes. Some girls in the class blushed at how the silver-haired boy looked, he didn't care much but. Todoroki, so it starts today, right? Izuku, that's right. Kirishima, and who is the first? I was going to answer but. Mei, come on Izuku-kun. Note, she was dressed like this. Izuku, beautiful, whisper. Mei blushed a little but happily approached and gave him a kiss on the cheek. Mei, it's your prize. Todoroki, you're wearing protection just in case, he said mockingly. Izuku blushed and a twitch appeared in his eye. Izuku, Teapot hated you. Todoroki, yes, I love you too, brother. Izuku didn't say anything, he just grabbed Mei's hand and they left the Heights Alliance. They were already outside, more specifically at the entrance. Izuku, well, where do you want to start? Mei, let's go to a restaurant, we didn't eat, especially because you're hungry. At that, Izuku's stomach growls and he blushes with embarrassment. Mei laughs at that. Izuku, don't laugh. Mei, yeah, then let's go. Izuku just sighed. They started walking in the direction of a restaurant. A few minutes passed and they had arrived. They looked for a free table to sit down and found it and sat down. The waiter came to ask for their order. Mei ordered a plate of sushi. Izuku ordered half of the menu. The waiter looked somewhat strange. He didn't say anything. He said that they would bring their order in a while. They just thanked them and he left. Mei, by the way, she put her hand in her jacket pocket taking out her cell phone showing a design. This is my baby number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, starting to count with her fingers. Everyone who was more Izuku than me shed a drop of sweat because of that. Izuku, you'll never change, but I love you like this. Mei, baka, blushing. Izuku, but what function does it have? Looking at the design. Mei puts away the cell phone. Mei, shh, it's still a secret. Izuku thought it was strange, he didn't give it any importance. A few minutes passed and the waiter took their orders and they started eating. Everyone except Mei was surprised by how the silver-haired man ate. Some of them felt a little disgusted, some of them shed a drop of sweat. Mei just laughed at that. A few minutes later. Izuku, how delicious, touching his stomach. Mei, it seems that you like the food, looking at the dirty dishes that Izuku left. Izuku just laughed nervously. The waiter only carried the plates and had to ask for some help. Izuku helped carry them. Mei wanted to pay the bill but the silver-haired man had already paid. They were already outside the restaurant. Mei, how did you have so much money? Izuku, I always liked them and kept them and more David who sends me. Mei, I see. Izuku proposed to go to the park, she accepted, they both went to the park, they were having fun with each other's company. Izuku had won some games that had prizes, he gave those prizes to her, Mei only gave him a kiss for that. They left the park and went to a shopping center. They bought some things like clothes etc. Izuku was carrying almost everything. It was already 7 p.m. They were heading to the Heights Alliance. Mei, how tired. Izuku, but you liked it, right? Mei just gave him a kiss, as a sign that she liked it. Mei, I loved the outing. Izuku just smiled at that, just as they entered the living room. Aizawa, so I just came to say that. Izuku, what did I miss? Todoroki, nothing important let's say. Izuku, I see. Mei, okay, I'll leave things in your room. Can you help me, Momo? Momo accepted, grabbed some things that Izuku had and took them to the aforementioned room. Izuku, seriously, what did I miss? Aizawa, I just came to give some news. Izuku pays attention. 2 days before the sports festival you will face some teachers. He was a little surprised, but why would they do that? Izuku, who had the idea? He said seriously. Aizawa, Nezu and All Might, upon learning that you did not use all your power in the confrontation, decided to see if that was true, he said bored. Izuku just sighed and accepted the confrontation but asked something. Izuku, who are going to be my opponents? Aizawa, for the moment it is not known yet but on that day you will know I am retiring. Do not make disasters, especially your Bakugo. He just looked the other way. He just sighed and left the room leaving the class alone. Momo and Mei had just arrived in the room. Mei had already changed her clothes to a casual one. Mei headed to Melissa and Kendo, who were a little jealous of how happy she looked. Izuku, I'm going to my room, I have to change. Bakugo, I hope you lose the match. Izuku ignored him completely and went to his room. Izuku, girls, I'll be back. They accepted what Izuku said. He just smiled and continued his way to his room. He arrived at his room and changed into ordinary clothes and in that. Drag, will you use it, mate? Izuku, it's probably been a long time since I last used it. Drag just laughed at that. Now the masters and heroes are going to see some of the power of the Red Emperor Dragon. Drag, okay buddy, I'm going to sleep. Izuku, I better not say anything. He sighed, cut off communication with the dragon, left his room, and in the living room he only found Melissa, Kendo and Mei watching TV. Izuku, and the others? Kendo, they went to train. Izuku, I see, by the way, how did you take the news? Melissa, well. Flashback. All, what they? Melis, isn't that a bit unfair? I asked angrily. Aizawa, I don't believe it. If he really says that, do we have to find out? Bakugo, that Deku is the only one who will lose. Kendo, that Deku you say beat you or rather humiliated you. Bakugo got angry and remembered that day when the silver-haired boy humiliated the entire Class A. Todoroki, also who had the idea, he said seriously. Aizawa, Nezu and All Might, well, I just came to let you know that. End of flashback. Kendo, and that happened. Mei, isn't that a bit exaggerated? Izuku, not for me, they look at him. Melissa, but you'll be fine. Izuku just hugs her. Izuku, I'll be fine, trust me. Melissa blushed but returned the hug. Melissa, if you say so. Kendo and Mei were a little jealous of the hug. Kendo, okay, and if we watch some movies? Mei, it wouldn't be bad at all, but in Izuku's room. Izuku accepted without any problem and they went to the silver-haired boy's room to watch some movies. The next day. Everyone was already in the living room having breakfast, well, almost everyone since Izuku, Mei, Kendo and Melissa were missing. Ida, do you know anything about Midoriya? Everyone denied. Mina, Mei, Kendo and Melissa are also missing, looking for the aforementioned. Kirishima, Todoroki, let's go? Todoroki, yes, let's go. Ida, where are they going? They did not answer and went to their rooms in full view of the others. They went to the silver-haired man's room and knocked on the door. Kirishima, Izu bro, are you awake? Izuku, yes. They turned around and found Izuku, but it was obvious that he had just woken up. Todoroki, what happened to you? Izuku, I got lost on the path of life. Kirishima, is it true? Izuku, of course not. They fell on their backs anime style. Todoroki, now seriously, what happened to you? Izuku, I stayed up late watching movies with the girls. Todoroki, movie or something else? Kirishima, that's a man's thing. He blushed a little but shook his head a little to calm himself down. Izuku, of course not, idiot. Todoroki, if you say so. Izuku, go ahead, I'll catch up with you later. I'll wait for you. They nodded and left, leaving the silver-haired man alone. They arrived at the living room where everyone was still. Ida, where did they go? Todoroki, you never get tired of asking, he said annoyed. Ida, it is my duty as president, what will each one do and if it is okay? Todoroki, anyway, he's coming, and by the way, what about Momo? Ojiro, she went to the kitchen. He just thanked her and went to the kitchen. Kirishima, I better go train. He left and after a while Izuku, Melissa, Mei and Kendo came down. Izuku, okay, can you help me make breakfast? They just nodded, headed to the kitchen, but when they entered the kitchen. Momo, okay, calm down, stroking Todoroki. Gelda is Momo, Zeldris is Todoroki and Meliodas is Izuku. Izuku, sate, so you like that kind of caresses, he said chibi form. The Izuku girls left the kitchen because they saw an ice attack from Todoroki that hit them squarely, creating an ice wall, and in the middle was Izuku frozen still in his chibi form. Todoroki, shut up, he said blushing. Momo was blushing and looked like a tomato. Drag, you see I'm right. Izuku, ccccca.ca. Shut up, he said coldly. Drag just sighed at that, his partner is not going to change. Momo, I think you went too far Todoroki-kun. Izuku, mu.mu.die.d.de.f. Todoroki approached the ice wall and put his left hand on the ice wall and slowly it began to thaw. A few minutes later. Izuku was sitting on a chair with a towel covering him and in his hands a cup of coffee trembled from the cold. His girls just laughed at the situation the silver-haired boy was in. Izuku, U.A.P. Little more and I wouldn't have counted it. Todoroki, you're a pervert. Izuku, you liked it, right? She blushed and the brunette noticed it. Momo, did you like it? She said blushing. Todoroki, yes, he said in a whisper. Almost no one heard them but especially Izuku who put on a mocking smile. Izuku, so my brother is perverted and he liked it. Todoroki, shut up, he said in a cold tone, threatening to launch another attack. Izuku, he, that's it, I'm not saying anything, he said nervously. Todoroki just sighed to calm down and not kill him. He deactivated his quirk and looked at Momo who was blushing a lot, he just smiled. Izuku, okay I'm going to prepare breakfast. Momo, well, we've already had breakfast, we'll leave you, let's go Todoroki-kun. He grabbed the bicolor's hand and led him to the living room, the others just watched, Izuku just laughed at that. Izuku, well then, let's get to work. They started making breakfast. A few minutes passed and they finished preparing breakfast. They headed to the table. When they arrived, some boys from the class were sitting. They were Ida, Bakugo, and Todoroki. They only greeted Todoroki then the others ignored them they just sat down to start eating but. Ida, good morning Midoriya. He didn't get any response, he was just eating in silence. Ida, hey, it's rude not to say hello. Again no response. Bakugo, humph, maybe Deku's bitch of a mother never educated him. Todoroki, shit. There was a sound of a spoon falling and they saw that it was the silver-haired boy who only had his gaze down and his hair covering his eyes. Todoroki and the girls were worried. Bakugo, you see that? He couldn't continue because he saw how Izuku disappeared and he didn't react in time because he was sent against a wall. He spat out some blood but someone grabbed him by the neck and it was Izuku and he saw that his eyes changed. Ignore what Drag says. The girls and Todoroki got up to stop their friend/boyfriend. Ida also got up to stop but the others also came. They were going to talk but. Izuku, you talk about my mother again. I'll kill you. Bakugo, fine. Try it Deku. But they saw that his gauntlet appeared and he put his hand on his stomach. They saw that the dragon shot appeared about to shoot it. Bakugo was a little scared. He was trying to use force and create explosions but he couldn't because the force of the grip on his neck was suffocating him but then. All Might, stop, young Lucifer. Everyone looked at the entrance and it was the former symbol of peace. Izuku looked at him with his changed eyes but his eyes returned to normal. The gauntlet disappeared and through Bakugo where All Might was, he fell to the ground and had a hard time catching his breath. All Might, young Bakugo. Are you okay? Bakugo, yes. All Might grabbed Bakugo and took him to the infirmary for recovery to check him and heal him. Ida, see what you did. Izuku, yes, and? Besides, he started it and I defended myself. Ida, but that is not a hero's job, attacking his companions. Izuku, he's not my partner or anything, he said in a cold tone. Everyone had a chill down their spine, except their girls, Todoroki and Kirishima, Momo. Izuku sighed to calm down and left the room, leaving a somewhat awkward silence. Melissa, come on girls. They nodded and left with the silver-haired boy, the others stayed. Todoroki, I thought he was going to get out of control. Kirishima, it's true, sighing. Ida, do you know why he became like that? Kirishima, it is a dedicated topic. With Izuku. This one was in his room and had a picture of his mother when he was little. Izuku, I miss you mom, he said sobbing. Knock knock. Izuku wiped away his tears. Izuku, who is it? But he saw that the door opened and he saw that it was the girls. Izuku, what's up? He couldn't continue because he was hugged by his girls. Kendo, released Izuku-kun, everything is fine. He couldn't take it anymore and cried non-stop. He blamed himself for his mother's death, the girls just hugged him. The door closed courtesy of Kirishima. He was also sad about what they did to the silver-haired boy. Todoroki and Momo were there too. Kirishima, it's better that they are with him. Todoroki, you still think that? Kirishima, possibly yes, he said seriously. Momo, But he had said that Midoriya had died. Todoroki, let's say that for those who trusted him, even though we doubted him, he forgave us. 3 Doritos later. They were all already in the living room. Izuku was with his girls away from the others. Bakugo went to his room on All Might's orders and recovery in that. Knock knock. Mei went to open the door and found Cammy with the following clothes. Mei, it's your turn today, isn't it? Cammy, Ara, it's your turn, so today it's my turn. Mei let her pass and Cammy saw Izuku and went straight to him and hugged him tightly and kissed him. He only reciprocated in front of the others who were somewhat jealous. Izuku was changed into the following clothes. Izuku, cute. Cammy blushed and gave him a short kiss. Cammy, you're a ward darling, she said flirtatiously. I just laughed nervously. Izuku, okay, let's go. She grabbed his hand and they left the Heights Alliance. When they started walking they caught the glances of men and women. The men looked lustfully at Cammy. Izuku changed his eyes to reptilian ones and released a murderous aura. The men felt cold so they stopped looking at her. Cammy noticed that and laughed at that. Cammy, oh, don't tell me you're jealous? Izuku, I'm just protecting what's mine, said a whisper. But she heard him anyway, so she stood in front and kissed him on the cheeks with affection. Izuku returned the kiss. The women got jealous because of that. When they finished kissing, Cammy gave him a hickey on the neck. Cammy, I also protect what is mine. He was blushing and laughed nervously. They started walking towards the cinema. When they arrived, Izuku paid for the entrance to the movie and for the popcorn and drinks. Cammy wanted to pay but he refused. They went inside to watch the movie. Imagine any movie. A few hours passed and they left the cinema. They were amazed by the movie. They went to a park and liked it. There was an ice cream vendor. They asked for their tastes and Izuku paid for the ice cream and they looked for a place to sit and they found it. It was approximately 5 p.m. It was a place of peace and silence and they enjoyed it. Cammy rested her head on Izuku's shoulder. He looked at her and smiled and caressed her head. Izuku, are you comfortable? Cammy, yes darling. Izuku laughed at that. They stayed like that for a few minutes and they had to leave more for Izuku. He accompanied Cammy to her house. When they arrived she said goodbye with a kiss and entered her house. Izuku began to walk towards the Heights Alliance, but suddenly Izuku looked to the side and saw a hooded man, but he felt something strange about him. He was going to talk but he saw that he went to an alley. He followed him and when he arrived he was no longer there. Izuku, Drag, you felt it, didn't you? Drag, if it was like the presence of. Izuku, the target is very close. I was serious now. I knew that he is close to the UA, he just left, but let's go with the person. He was on top of a house looking at the remains. So it's him. Albion, that's right, he's your rival. Looks strong, we'll see you very soon Izuku Lucifer. The next day. Izuku was training outside of Heights Alliance. He was serious since he met his rival. He stopped training since he was like 2 hours without stopping. Izuku, I think that's enough for today, he said somewhat tired. Drag, that's right, little by little you're getting used to my power. He just nodded, his gauntlet disappeared and he went to the Heights Alliance. When he entered, he found his girls and friends in the room. Izuku, I'm done. Melissa/Kendo/Mei, hello Izu. They blushed heavily and his nose was bleeding, since the silver-haired boy was not wearing a shirt, revealing his well-worked body. Todoroki and Kirishima laughed at the situation. Izuku noticed and smiled at that. Izuku, do you like what you see? Girls, baka. They ran towards the kitchen in sight of Izuku and his friends. They were laughing out loud. He greeted his friends and went to take a shower since today he would have his date with Melissa. Later, he was already changed into the following clothes. They ran towards the kitchen in sight of Izuku and his friends. They were laughing out loud. He greeted his friends and went to take a shower since today he would have his date with Melissa. Later, he was already changed into the following clothes. Izuku, I hope I don't cross him. Drag, I hope so, mate. Izuku sighed to calm down. He wanted to be calm and not think about it. He cut off communication with Drag because he heard footsteps on the stairs. He saw that it was Melissa 3. Izuku, beautiful. Melissa blushed but gave him a kiss on the cheek, thanking him for the gesture. He just laughed nervously as they said goodbye to their friends. Since Mei had to return to the workshop since her vacation was over, Kendo had to return with Class B to fulfill her work as president since the sports festival was coming soon. Already outside the Heights Alliance. They were walking towards a restaurant since they had not eaten any more Izuku. When they arrived they asked for a free table for the two of them. The waiter guided them to an available table. They sat down and looked at the menu. A few minutes passed. Melissa ordered ramen and Izuku, well, He ordered half of the menu. The waiter looked at him a little strangely. He didn't say anything. He took the menu and told them that in half an hour he would bring their orders. They just thanked him and the waiter left the couple. Melissa, by the way, what happened yesterday that you came? Something serious. Izuku, I found it. Melissa, who? Izuku, to my rival, he said seriously. She was surprised and scared since they would have their battle very soon. Izuku noticed that and just placed his hand on hers and gave her a smile to reassure her. Izuku, calm down, Meli-chan. Melissa, it's just that Izuku-kun, I don't want to lose you, she said sadly. Izuku, you're not going to lose me, I'll win the battle. Melissa, promise me? Looking into my eyes. Izuku, I promise you. Izuku took out his hand. She just sighed to calm down. They started talking calmly. Half an hour passed and the waiter brought her order. She left the ramen to Melissa and left half of the menu to Izuku. The waiter was going to talk but was surprised by what he saw. The silver-haired man started eating like crazy. Waiter, you were very hungry, right? Melissa, it's because of his quirk. He has an advanced metabolism, he lied. Waiter, and I see, with a drop of sweat. He just sighed and left. Melissa found the scene of Izuku eating nonstop funny. Sometimes he choked, but let's go with Drag. Izuku's subconscious. The dragon was sleeping very peacefully until. Wow, you really haven't changed, have you? Drag, tsh, I told you not to interrupt me, but. Issei? That's how the chestnut was with his old friend and companion of multiple battles. Issei, hee, it's been so long. Drag, that's right, but what are you doing here? I don't think this is a visit? Issei, something like that, let's say it's about that. Drag, I see. Issei, how long can he be in that form? Drag, 5 minutes minimum, if it is exceeded it gets out of control. Issei, it's because of the curse, since when Izuku passes the 5 minutes, the curse attacks him. He takes advantage of that situation and possibly attacks all his friends, his girls and the entire Class A for his betrayal, he said seriously. Drag became serious once and almost lost control. If it weren't for his girls, the UA or rather Japan or the world would no longer exist. Issei, well, my advice is to keep training, the curse is disappearing, well, send him my regards from me and good luck in his battle. He disappeared from the place, leaving Drag alone, who only sighed. Drag, I'll have to talk to him when this is over. Outside the subconscious. Melissa and Izuku had already finished their meals. Izuku paid for everything. She wanted to refuse but she couldn't. They were already walking outside towards a park. They ordered ice cream for themselves and went to sit down. They began to eat in a comfortable silence for them. A few minutes passed and they finished eating, and they prepared to leave. They were holding hands with a smile. A few minutes passed and they arrived at Heights Alliance. When they entered, Aizawa was there with Nezu, Melissa, and Izuku. It seemed strange that the director was there. Nezu, oh young Lucifer, I was just waiting for you. Izuku, now what happened? Nezu, do you remember that Aizawa told you that you were going to face some heroes in 2 days, that is, today? Izuku was surprised, he had almost forgotten about that. Melissa also forgot that Izuku had a confrontation. Izuku, but isn't it late? Aizawa, I thought so too, but they want to fight anyway. He just sighed. Izuku, okay, where will the confrontation be? Nezu, in the fake city. Izuku, okay, I'll be there in half an hour. Nezu and Aizawa nodded and said goodbye to the students as they were all. Aizawa, oh by the way, the others can come and see. Izuku, hi. He left there, leaving the others alone. Melissa gave him a kiss on the cheek and went to her room to change. Izuku, well, I'll have to change. He was going to leave but someone stood in the middle and it was Bakugo, who had a mocking smile. Bakugo, I think it's a waste of time for us to go. Izuku looks at him bored, if you're going to lose Deku. But he was completely ignored as he passed by without much importance what he said. Bakugo got upset to attack but was frozen by Todoroki. Izuku was grateful as he didn't want to waste time with a Muslim. Half an hour later. Class A was in a safe place where they could watch the battle along with Class B, who was also invited. The Izuku girls were together as well as David and Eri, who were attentive to what was going to happen. On the battlefield. There were 3 heroes. Endeavor. Mirko. Hawks. They were waiting for their opponent, who was the silver-haired Izuku, but he didn't seem to arrive. Mirko, tsh, why is it taking so long? She said angrily. Endeavor, I don't know, it's weird. Hawks, layers that will not want to fight. Mirko was going to speak, but they heard some footsteps and saw that it was Izuku, who had a neutral look. He stopped walking after a few meters. The pressure in the air could be felt. Mirko, I hope he gives us a good battle, or else this would be boring. Izuku didn't say anything, he just kept quiet. Hawks, it seems that he is not a man of many words. Endeavor, something doesn't add up. But in that. All Might, ha ha ha, sorry for being late, he said with his smile. Everyone / Izuku, All Might, they said, surprised. Izuku, it's not a risky thing. All Might, don't worry young Lucifer, come with everything. Izuku just put on a smile. Izuku, I use it friend? Drag, ha ha ha, let's do it, but remember to restrain yourself. Izuku, then. Momo, don't tell me that. You're girls, you're going to use it. Ida, what thing? In that. Izuku, balance breaker. Welsh dragon balance breaker. Izuku, I'm ready heroes. They were surprised by the armor that covered the silver-haired boy, but more so Momo and the Izuku girl, since they knew about said armor. Aizawa, but what a strange armor. Nezu, that's it. Izuku's girls, balance breaker. Vlad, balance breaker? Momo, a forbidden movement. Nezu, it will be interesting to see the power of the Red Dragon Emperor. Ibara, does anyone want to pray for the heroes? Everyone / Nezu / Aizawa, me. In the battle. Mirko, just because he covered himself with that armor won't save him from the beating. Endeavor, you have to be careful. All Might, do you know the armor? Endeavor, enough to know it's dangerous. Izuku, well, who wants to be first? Or all at once? Mirko, don't underestimate us, he attacked directly. Hawks, wait Mirko. The heroine went straight to attack him and kicked him, which Izuku covered with his forearm. He didn't move an inch, surprising everyone and even more so the heroine. Ida, I stopped the heroine's kick. Izuku, it will be difficult to contain myself, whispering. Mirko, what? Gah, spit saliva. Izuku had been hit in the stomach by a blow that sent her a few meters. She quickly recovered but knelt down since the blow hurt quite a bit. Mirko, Mirda, looking at the others, they are going to help me, I shout angrily. Hawk spread his wings and flew away, and Mirko quickly recovered and also went to attack with his partner. Izuku just looked at that board. Hawks released many sharp feathers and Mirko went to attack him again. Izuku just raised his hand with his palm outstretched. Izuku, dragon shot. He launched his attack, turning the feathers into dust. Mirko dodged the attack and so did Hawks, but that attack was aimed at All Might and Endeavor. They dodged the attack, but... boom! A big explosion made everyone look at the explosion area, being surprised and somewhat scared, especially the students. Ibara, what power? Ida, it's a monster. Bakugo just looked surprised, he didn't say a word, just like Monoma and the others. In the battle, Izuku took advantage of the hero's distraction and appeared behind Hawks. Izuku, don't get distracted. Hawks didn't have time to react, he received a blow to the back that sent him to the ground, creating a mini crater. Mirko launched himself to kick him, the silver-haired man dodged them with ease, grabbed a kick and in a quick movement he slammed her into the ground, kicked her in the ribs, sending her to where Hawks was, who barely grabbed her. Boost T boost 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 boost. Izuku, dragon shot. He launched the attack where they were, they didn't have time to react, hitting him full force, creating a smoke screen. Everyone was impressed by the power, he defeated two top heroes with great ease. Izuku, 2 down, 2 to go, looks at Endeavor and All Might. They became serious. Endeavor raised his flames higher and began to walk alongside All Might. Endeavor, are you ready? All Might, I'm always ready. Izuku, go ahead. The heroes launched an attack at the sight of Izuku, who was calm, dodging and blocking the blows with ease. He had to admit that he did not expect such great coordination from them. Izuku pushed them back with his forearm, but they quickly recovered and launched themselves again. All Might, Detroit Smash. Endeavor covered his fist in fire. They wanted to punch him, but he covered himself with his armor arms. He was sent against a wall that he went through. Ida, they did it. Todoroki, since when does my old man team up with All Might? Mina, I don't know, but they are fantastic. Tsuyu, that's right Karo. Monoma, he already lost the fight. Melissa, you better not talk ahead of time. Aizawa, I didn't think they would work as a team. Nezu, I was impressed, I didn't think they would work as a team. Izuku pulled himself together and stood up. Izuku, so this is the strength of the strongest heroes, how exciting. Drag, hey, didn't Endeavor hate All Might? Izuku, yes, but it seems that it changed. He cut off communication with Drag as he saw that they launched themselves again. He put on a smile, but it wasn't noticeable through his helmet. He also launched into the attack. They collided their fists, creating a huge blizzard of air, sending everything flying. They started with an exchange of fists. The heroes were going with everything, but Izuku contained himself as best he could. But he was having fun, at least they were giving him some fight. Izuku hit Endeavor in the face, sending him a few meters. He dodged a Detroit smash and took the opportunity to hit him in the stomach, which made him spit out some blood. He kicked him in the head, sending him against the wall. He made him lose his muscular form and become unconscious. The students of Class A and B were surprised by how he defeated the former symbol of peace. Nezu, so only Endeavor remains. Aizawa, that's right, he does have great power. Melissa, and to think that it is contained. Everyone, what? Nehire, they thought I was fighting with everything. Bakugo, it's impossible. Momo, unfortunately it's the truth. Kendo, if I went all out, this battle would last less than 1 minute. On the battlefield. Endeavor slowly recovered from the blow when Izuku saw that he was calm. Already standing up, he was tired, but he would not give up for anything. Izuku, are you giving up? Endeavor, hey damn brat, I'm never gonna give up. He just gave a smile and made a movement with his hand for him to come attack him. Endeavor didn't waste any time and went at full power to attack him, but it was useless. Izuku blocked them or dodged them with ease. Endeavor increased his flames more. He was already at his limit, but he would give his all. Izuku realized that and smiled. Izuku, so you're going to use it? Endeavor, it's all I have. Todoroki, don't tell me what. Endeavor, prominence burn. Hitting Endeavor's big attack full force, causing a huge explosion that shook the entire field. They couldn't see anything, just the smoke screen. Aizawa, looks like he won. Setsuna, it was to be expected from the number one hero. Bakugo, that damn. Ida looked at Izuku's girls, they weren't worried or anything like that. Ida, why aren't you scared or worried? Kendo, look carefully. Nezu, it was expected. Everyone looked at the smoke screen that was slowly peeling off. They saw Endeavor, who was static and scared. Endeavor, fifth impossible. He saw that the armor only had a scratch. Everyone except his girls were surprised by how he resisted the attack of the top one hero. Izuku raised his hand towards Endeavor's heart that did nothing. Izuku, I win. The 1-inch blow hit Endeavor's back, and air pressure came out. They saw that his flames suddenly went out. The hero was falling on his back, unconscious. Only a silence formed in the place, and then. Precinct Mike, the battle is over. Izuku Lucifer is the winner. Aizawa, was it necessary? I look bored at Precinct Mike. Precinct Mike, yes. Aizawa just sighed. The others had a drop of sweat because of that. On the battlefield. Izuku deactivated the balance breaker and looked at the unconscious heroes. He just sighed and saw that UA robots began to arrive to take the heroes away. He just left the battle site. Izuku, at least I had some fun. Just as he entered the tunnel to leave, he was attacked and hugged by all his girls and fell to the ground. Izuku, hey, girls, he said nervously and blushing. Since he was caught in a tight group hug with his girls. Kendo, congratulations. May, the battle was incredible. Melissa, I had no doubts that you would win. Kami, Ara, you are so strong, I wonder how he's always so composed, she thought, slightly flustered. Nehire, it was boom 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 boom, she said in wonder. Izuku, hey thanks but. Girls, but? Izuku, I'm going to run out of air, he said totally blue. The girls blushed and separated from the hug. Izuku regained his breath. Drag, are you sure it was that or something else? Izuku, shut up. Drag, ha, so that's it, but sooner or later you're going to have to do it. Izuku blushed heavily, feeling an unfamiliar warmth rising in him, but he quickly shook it off. Nehire, Izu-kun, why are you blushing? Izuku turned his head to the side. Izuku, n.it's nothing. His girls looked at him somewhat doubtfully but did not give it much importance. After a while his friends arrived, Class A and B, the director and some heroes. Nezu, what a great show young Lucifer. Izuku, thanks I guess. Kirishima, you were amazing Izu bro. Todoroki, you beat up my old man. Izuku laughed nervously at that. Bakugo looked angrily at the silver-haired boy. With this, he was already the strongest in the UA and he refused to accept that he was stronger. Bakugo, damn Deku, he said whispering. Izuku yawned and stretched, signaling that he was sleepy. Izuku, well, I think it's time for me to sleep. Tomorrow I'll be very busy. Todoroki, be careful. Izuku, that's not what I meant, he said, slightly flustered. Kirishima, ha 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 if you say so. Izuku, bastards. Kirishima and Todoroki, we love you too, friend/brother. Izuku sighed, created a magic circle at his feet, dismissed everyone, and disappeared. Ida, where did he go? Aizawa, I guess to his room, speaking of which let's go back to the Heights Alliance. With Izuku. He arrived at his room with the magic circle, he took off his slippers and lay down to sleep. He was a little tired and sleepy. Izuku covered himself up a little and slept for tomorrow. The next day. The silver-haired boy slowly woke up and looked to the side but found Nehire sleeping peacefully. He blushed at how pretty she was sleeping and looked to the other side, finding Melissa also sleeping. He saw that Kami was sleeping above him and the other girls were hugging some parts of Izuku. Drag, good morning, mate, what a way to wake up. Izuku, good morning and better not give your opinion. I look at the clock that read 10:30 a.m., girls wake up, he said trying to wake them up. Then little by little his girls began to wake up, they gave each other a good morning kiss and went to the bathroom to do their business. Izuku sighed and got out of bed, went down the stairs to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. He didn't find anyone, he thought everyone was training since the sports festival was near. A few minutes passed and Izuku waited for his girls at the table. He didn't have to wait long as they arrived at the dining room for breakfast. Melissa, and the others? Izuku, I guess they are training. Kendo, possibly since the sports festival is near. May, will it be like last year? Nehire, I don't think so. Kami, do you know something? Nehire, from what I heard it will be a direct battle, without an obstacle course and among other things. Izuku, I see. Time skip 16:30 p.m. Living room. Kirishima, and well that happened. Izuku, don't you think you went too far? Looking at Todoroki. Todoroki, a little. Created. Momo, what happened? Arriving. Kirishima, well. Flashback. Everyone except Izuku and his girls were training, Kirishima and Todoroki were training together but right in their sector. Bakugo, Shiai ni, making an explosion in the sky, shit. They stopped their training to look at Bakugo. Kirishima, hey Bakugo, we're training quietly. Todoroki, lower your voice a little, it gives me a headache. Bakugo, what did you say to me? Half and half. Todoroki, what I said Muslim. Then he launched an attack when he was going to explode, he was frozen by Todoroki who was serious. Todoroki, be quiet, you behave well. Kirishima, did you use all your power? Todoroki, I think so. Kirishima just looked at that with a drop of sweat. End of flashback. Momo, I think you went too far. They looked at Bakugo who was shivering from the cold and with a cup of tea. Bakugo, L.lo.los akwu. Izuku, well, he caught a cold. Kendo, I'm ready Izuku-kun, arriving where Izuku is. Izuku, beautiful. Kendo, Baka, she said blushing, you are not far behind, looking at what Izuku was wearing. Izuku, hee hee hee. Kendo noticed Bakugo. Kendo, what happened to him? Izuku, I'll tell you everything on the way. He grabbed Kendo's hand and said goodbye to his friends, left the Heights Alliance, walked to a restaurant, talked about trivial things and among other things. Kendo, by the way, what happened to Bakugo? Izuku told him everything. Kendo's sweat dropped and just sighed. They arrived at the restaurant and asked the waiter for a free table. He guided them to a table in view of the street, left them the menu and went to do his job. Kendo had ordered ramen and Izuku, well the typical half of the menu, they began to eat calmly. Izuku, by the way, you're training, right? Kendo, hi I will win the festival even though it will be somewhat difficult. Izuku, I see. Kendo, and you, Izuku-kun, are you training? Izuku, just for my battle, I'm not interested in the festival, let's say. Kendo, it doesn't really attract your attention, does it? Izuku, something like that but well let's keep eating this is very delicious. A few minutes passed, they finished eating, Izuku paid the bill and they went out for a walk for a while. Kendo enjoyed the silver-haired boy's company and he also loved the orange-haired boy's company. They passed by an ice cream shop and took the opportunity to buy ice cream. Izuku paid for the ice cream and walked to a park that was nearby. They arrived at the park and looked for a bench to sit on and found one. They sat down and began to eat the ice cream in a comfortable silence for them but what? Looks behind him. Kendo, is something wrong? She said somewhat worried. Izuku, you're sorry, buddy. Drag, he's following us, be very careful. Izuku cut off communication with Drag and looked at Kendo. Izuku, it's okay. She looked at him doubtfully but let it pass. Time skip 19:30 p.m. They were walking to the Heights Alliance since it was a bit late and they didn't want to have problems with Nezu, Aizawa, and Vlad. Just when they were about to enter, Izuku stopped suddenly, looking at a serious place and she looked at him strangely. Izuku, come in now. Kendo, what's wrong? He saw Izuku's serious look. She quickly understood what was happening, gave him a short kiss on the mouth and quickly entered the Heights Alliance. Izuku, get out of here, white man. Then he saw the same hooded man come out of an alley. Oh, so you noticed, huh? Izuku, you followed me from the park, he said seriously. You are interesting Izuku Midoriya or rather. Albion, Izuku Lucifer. I noticed the divine dividing wings and take out his gauntlet. Drag, it's been so long, Albion. Albion, same here Drag. Izuku, what brings you here? He said seriously. I was just looking at what the UA was like, but it seems different as they told me. Izuku, are you sure it was because of that? No, I also wanted to get to know you well, last time we didn't have a long chat. Izuku, I agree with that. You interesting Izuku, we will see each other very soon for our battle. Izuku, same here. Drag, your carrier better not be overconfident. Albion, I say the same red. The hooded man flew away in front of Izuku who was serious. Drag, you noticed, right? Izuku, he is mixed blood too, we have to keep training. His gauntlet disappeared and he entered the Heights Alliance. When Izuku had entered there was no one in the room, everything was silent. He went to the kitchen to drink some water. Izuku, any minute now. Drag, we will face Albion. Izuku nodded at what his partner said. The next day 16:30 p.m. Today was the last appointment that Izuku had pending since tomorrow the sports festival begins. Some of Class A were nervous, some not so much but Izuku. Well, not of much importance, with the balance breaker or without using it, he would defeat everyone, but he would be very attentive if the white one appears, but also there was not much movement from the League of Villains and that worried him a little. Kirishima, what are you thinking about? Izuku was sitting on the couch, he shook his head a little and looked at his friend. Izuku, about the League of Villains, I found it strange that there was no movement. Todoroki, you're right about that. The two-tone came out of the kitchen with his typical face. Kirishima, do you think they? Izuku, possibly, although it would be very risky, but that possibility should not be ruled out. Todoroki, you have to be very careful, especially if he is with them. Izuku, I just hope not. Kirishima, by the way, today is your last date, right? Looking at what he was wearing. Izuku, that's right. They continued talking for a while, they heard some footsteps on the stairs and saw that it was Nehire. Izuku, goddess. Nehire, come on Izu-kun, grabbing the silver-haired boy's hand. Izuku, yes, I look at his friends, see you later. They left the Heights Alliance, they went to an amusement park at her request, he did not refuse her request, a few minutes passed and they arrived, there were many people and too many games. Izuku, wow, it's been a long time since I came here. Nehire, really? Izuku, that's right, let's go? Then they started walking in the amusement park, Nehire wanted to ride all the possible games, Izuku just laughed at his girl's attitude, they tried all the possible games. Roller coaster, bumper cars and among other things, a few hours passed, it was 6:30 p.m. They left the park heading to a restaurant. Nehire was happy and Izuku too because they had a great time. Izuku, Drag. Drag, he's following us again. Izuku just nodded, they arrived at the restaurant, the waiter guided them to a free table for the two of them, left them the menu and left. Izuku, Nehire, what are you going to order? Izuku, half the menu. Nehire just had a drop of sweat. A few minutes passed and they started eating what they ordered. Nehire was eating katsudon while Izuku was eating what he ordered. She just laughed as she ate her Izuku. After a while they finished eating and Izuku paid for everything. Nehire told him that she was going to the bathroom and he just accepted that he was going to wait for her outside the restaurant. He left the restaurant and looked to the right, meeting the hooded man. Izuku, are you a stalker? The hooded man's veins throbbed at the comment. TCH was here by chance. Izuku, yeah, chibi form. It's true. Izuku, whatever, what do you want? He said seriously. I just wanted to eat. Izuku, stop lying you bastard. Hey, size, you have doubts, right? Izuku looked at him a little strangely. Izuku, you're weird. I know, they tell me that often. Izuku, are you with them? No, besides, I don't follow orders from someone inferior to me. Izuku, so you met him, right? That's right, he seems like someone but strong but not. Then at one point they exchanged glances. Izuku couldn't see his rival's face well, but then the door of the restaurant would open. It was Nehire, but she saw that Izuku was looking seriously at the hooded man. Nehire, is something wrong Izuku-kun? Izuku, nothing is happening for now. I guess there's nothing more to talk about. She turned around leaving the place but then she looked at Izuku. We'll see each other Izuku Lucifer. He took out the wings of the divine dividing and flew away. Nehire was nervous and scared and Izuku was just serious. He looked at Nehire who was a little scared. Nehire, hey, is he your rival? He just hugged her to calm her down. Izuku, it's over, everything's okay. Nehire, I don't want to lose you again, she said, about to cry. Izuku, let's go to the Heights Alliance. She accepted. They held hands and left. A few minutes passed and they had arrived. When they entered everyone from Class A was in the main room. Izuku saw that all his girls were there with their friends. They were separated from the others and he approached with Nehire. He didn't have time to speak as he was hugged by all his girls. Izuku, they did miss me, by the way, what happened? Kirishima, it seems like a meeting, we don't give it much importance. Izuku, I see. Todoroki, by the way, how did it go? Izuku, well, it's a bit difficult. Todoroki, did you use protect? Izuku, that's not what I meant. Blushing. Ida, hey, you guys pay attention. Izuku, now what do you want? Momo, it's about the festival. Todoroki, talk. Ida, Aizawa-sensei told us that it will not be the same as the first year. Izuku, I see. Kirishima, well I hope it's exciting. Bakugo, you guys are nothing against me. Tsuyu, Bakugo being Bakugo Karo. Bakugo, what did you say? Ida, calm down Bakugo. Bakugo, don't you order me, 4 eyes. Izuku, this meeting went to shit. Mei, that's right. Izuku, by the way girls, they look at him, you can go to my room I want to tell you something. They noticed that he was a little blushing, they didn't say anything and went to their room. Kirishima and Todoroki looked a little strange at that. Kirishima, is everything okay Izu bro? Izuku, yes. Todoroki, sure? Izuku just nodded, said goodbye to his friends and left. Kirishima, well something's up today. Todoroki, let's leave it like that, tomorrow it will pass. Izuku was already at the door of his room. Izuku, I can't take it anymore. Drag, well it was sooner or later, he uses a sound barrier. Izuku, thanks friend. He would open the door to his room, he just had his head down, his hair covering his eyes and his girls noticed that. Kami, is everything okay darling? He received no response and saw that he locked the door, but they saw that the room was surrounded by a barrier. Izuku, sorry, I can't stand any more girls. Girls, what thing? Then they saw that he had raised his head and his eyes were those of a reptile. Izuku, I'm going to make them mine, with a thick voice. Then little by little he began to approach his girls, who slowly moved away, only in that room could he hear. Kya